What's up, guys? Product Probes Christian back at you with another knife today. Got the Defender Tactical Team knife here, kind of a tactical knife. It's actually, so far, not thoroughly impressed with it, and I'll tell you why in just a bit. But to give you guys a quick little sneak peek on the knife, it's got really nice looking everything for the most part on it. Got a cool blade, got a pretty cool handle, but the quality just isn't there, and I'll explain why in just a bit. Let's go ahead and get into the review. Now, we bought this thing thinking it was a Tac Force, but it was actually a Defender Tactical Team. Kind of got that mixed up, didn't see that in the title. But it is still, it's a pretty cool knife. Got a real nice aesthetic look to it. You know, with this handle here, you got a plastic handle, so not super quality there, with these little holes in there. And it might just be for aesthetics, but it also might be to cut that weight down just a hair. But with it being plastic, they shouldn't have to cut that weight down too much. Up here in the handle, you've got your clip point blade, so start up here from the spine of your knife. You have a real sharp drop off right there. And it's also got the sawback feature to it, which is kind of unique. We haven't really done a ton of those, which you're going to use that for wood. So you want to come back, coming this way so it catches on that wood. I don't know if you guys can see that a little bit better. Yeah, so the actual, the grooves, I don't know if you can see, are pointing that way. So you want to catch on the wood going this way, so you're not going to want to use it going that way. But that is a cool little thing we got going for this knife so far. Got a black oxidized mixed stainless steel blade, and you've got a half serrated, half straight blade. And so far, the serrations are actually pretty sharp. Not gonna lie about that part. But the only thing I don't like about these half serrated, half straight blades is you don't have much cutting room for precision work when you want to use that straight blade right there. You got maybe about 2.5 inches right there. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. Working our way back, we have got a liner lock right here. A little difficult, actually. Actually, not really. Yeah, it's not bad once you kind of get used to it. One-handed open and close. That lock is a little stiff, but I'm sure once you kind of get used to it here and there, it's going to loosen up a little bit, and you're going to be good. So, might even have to use, yeah, it's kind of catches sometimes, but you know what? I'm sure after a while, it won't be too bad. Also, let's see. They say it's a tactical knife, but I would not use this for any hardcore work, because I can already feel the give in the knife right here if you're going to use it to pound something through wood or to hammer something in. Definitely would not recommend that because I do see this thing breaking. Like I was saying, I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but we've got the assisted trigger. It's actually got a pretty fast trigger on there, being that the size of the blade is actually rather large. Sometimes some larger knives have a little more catch time, but with this one it's actually not too bad. Try that one more time. Yeah, not too bad at all. One thing I do notice is whenever the knife is closed, you're going to have that sawback sticking out right here. So I'm curious to see. It's kind of weird holding it in your hands like this, but I'm curious to see if it's going to catch in the pocket, especially with these two triggers on the side. I guess the only trigger on here is going to be this one. But you have the trigger right here. Not a big deal. We'll check that out in just a bit. Moving our way on down the knife. God, sometimes this thing's actually kind of hard to close. But you've got your seatbelt cutter in the back right here, as well as your glass breaker. And this thing is really prominent. So, sometimes you kind of get into that defensive stance. You want to put your thumb on the back of the knife. But with this one being super, super prominent, it's going to be kind of uncomfortable. But you know what? Also not a bad thing about it. I guess it's going to have a real good effect on it when you're going to go break that glass if you need to in a tactical situation. I guess that's why I call it a tactical knife. The grip on it, the holes on there actually give it a pretty nice little grip. Yeah, not bad at all. It doesn't have any thumb grooves or anything, but that's not a huge problem. It's kind of got a rounded, almost like a cushioned feel to it just because of how thick this thing is. It definitely is a bulkier knife, so the printing's going to be bad too in the pocket. Kind of not looking forward to seeing this thing in the pocket. I'm really hoping, though, that this blade is going to be somewhat sharp. Let's see. All right, we're actually getting quite a few hairs on here. So at least that might be one upside to the knife. I don't know if you guys can see these right up here. But right here on the bottom of the blade, you've got quite a few hairs down there. Let's go ahead and check this knife out and cut some paper with it. All right, so let's go ahead and see, first off, before we actually use the cut down and the punctures, let's see if we can't get a good grip on here and have a good cut down on this blade. So it's going to be hard if you got your serration on the back, so you got to start as far back as you can without hitting that serration. Okay, that's actually really good. Very minimal tearing right there. Let's try that again. All right, that was a bad one. That was on me. Let's see. Yeah, so it actually does a really good job. Try that one more time right here. Yeah, I'm actually really excited to see. I was not thinking this thing was going to be that sharp, but kind of blew my expectations out of the water. This thing's actually really sharp. Really impressed with the so far. Let's go ahead and test out the point and then on the cut down. As I just showed you, with a single hand, it actually did a really good job, so I'm kind of curious to see what we're going to do with two hands on the cut down. Let's see if we can't get a good right here. So I'm going to start right here. Let's come at an angle. A little tighter. So there is going to be a little bit of ripping, and I kind of caught it down there on the serration towards the end, so that's why it ripped a little bit. But it actually did a decent job, not too much ripping. Let's try that one more time. Okay, yeah, that was bad, my bad. Seems to just rip all of a sudden. Try that a little lighter. Alright, so that one actually was really good. It seems to have an initial problem catching right there, and especially you got to be careful. You want to try and cut starting down here, going all the way up to the top. But with that serration right there, it's a little more difficult. I'm kind of curious to see with the clip point right here, how this point's going to do and the catch on it. So there is a little bit of push right there, but not nearly as bad as it could be with a drop point blade. Not too bad. Let's see what we're dealing with on the cut down. There is a little bit of ripping right there, as you can see. But it actually, for a cheap little knife like this, it's actually not too bad. Alright, really impressed with that actually. Kind of blew my expectations away. You know, I really wish, it is a tactical knife, so I can see why they're going to put the serration down here. But I just like the blades to be all straight, one thing. But, like I was saying, since it's a tactical knife, it's definitely going to have that serration right there, which can be handy for some situations, but not for most everyday carry situations. But you know what, not a big deal there. One thing I want to check out is this pocket clip. Like I was saying, this thing's actually kind of beefy. Yeah, not too bad. Show you guys real quick. Hopefully, see that little dip right there? It's going to keep it nice, snug in the pocket, and it is really high up on the knife, which is a plus. So let's go ahead and check that out. Alrighty, let's go ahead and slide this down in the pocket, see what we're dealing with. So it slides in pretty good. Does that stop right there? Now, that actually can go all the way down in there, and that is super cool. There's really no knife sticking out right there. I don't know if you guys can see that in the close-up, but there's very, very little knife sticking out right there. You kind of almost have to give it a little extra push, because once you get to a certain spot on the knife, let's see. Yeah, there's two little bolts that are keeping the pocket clip in place. You get down to those two bolts, and it cuts off right there. So you kind of got to go over those bolts right there, push it down all the way in. You know, other than that, it's actually really not too bad. Let's see on the pull-out. Really, really simple pull-out. That was almost too simple. Let's see if it's... That's not too bad. I can definitely feel it in my pocket because it's a thicker knife. And the printing, there's a definitely large print on there, or prominent print. So it's probably not going to be the best concealed knife. If you got a jacket on, you can still kind of see that pocket clip just a hair. But yeah, it's not... It's like rubbing up against my leg just because it's almost like cylindrical, the whole knife itself. Let's see if the trigger's good on this. Oh, this one's a little... There we go. The trigger is right there, which is a good thing. Sometimes you got to flip them around, turn them sideways to get to that trigger. But the trigger is right there, which is a plus. I'm going to try that one more time. If you push... Yeah, you kind of got to give it an extra little push to get it all the way down in there, which isn't too bad, but you know, I wish those bolts weren't as prominent. That way you can just go ahead and just push it on in. Super simple. But it seems like sometimes there's a little bit of a catch when you're pulling it out. But other than that, that's not too bad. Alright, as you can see, this thing actually slides down in there really, really nicely. The only thing is, though, once you get up to about right here, the last, like not even quarter inch of the knife, once you get to those bolts right there, you actually have to kind of go up and over those bolts right there. So I wish they weren't as prominent as they are. That way it slide down in there all the way the first time without having to kind of move them off to the side. But it does slide in all the way down, no knife showing, which is a definite plus. The conceal side to it is good, but the only thing is it's super like thick. I don't know if you guys can see this right here in the camera, but these plastic pieces right here, they come out really far and they're just really, I guess you could say, fat. It's just it's almost like a cylinder almost. So the printing is really bad. You can really see that knife really well. You could probably see it if you were just walking around, but it is super lightweight. That is one thing I got to give to it. Just because of this is plastic, so it's not going to be super heavy. And the one thing though, with the plastic handles, you usually have a really bad weight distribution because it's a stainless steel up here and all plastic back here. But with this one, it's actually not too bad. So let's go ahead. I'm kind of curious to see what this thing's going to look like on the scale as well and see how big this thing is. Let's go ahead and throw this bad boy on the scale. Not think it's going to be super heavy just because of the plastic, but let's see what we're dealing with. 3.6, let's say 7, yeah, 3.67, so 3.7 ounces. Rather lightweight for a knife this size, and I know why, just because of that plastic handle. It's going to cut off that weight, especially with the holes in there. It's going to cut out a lot of that weight. Let's go ahead and grab our ruler right here. Should be around an 8-inch knife is what I'm guessing. But let's see, with the glass breaker, you're looking around right at 8.5, 8.25. Yeah, it looks like 8.25 right between those two. And then let's see without the glass breaker. Yep, still right there, 8.5. All right. So length of the blade itself, got about 1 inch of serration, and looks like the total blade is going to be 3.5. So you got about 2.5 inches of just straight blade right there. I guess that's pretty good. Sometimes they do half and half, but I like how it's going to be, you know, kind of a different proportion. You got the 2.5 to 1. So, because I don't like how sometimes, I just don't like the serration right there. It really does not serve too much of a purpose, but for a tactical knife, I can understand it. And all the way closed, you're going to be dealing with, let's do it this way, with the glass breaker. 4 3/4 it looks like, and it's probably around 4.5. Yeah, 4.5 without that glass breaker. So it's a pretty standard sized knife, but for 3.7 ounces, that's actually not too bad. For an 8.5-inch knife, 3.6 ounces is not bad. But one thing you can kind of just tell from the knife, it's just a super cheap knife. You got your plastic handle here. You can feel the give right here in the lock. So definitely not going to be able to use it for extra extraneous work or extra hard work. You can't really beat this thing up. Being that's a tactical knife, you should be able to, but I don't think you are going to be able to, because this thing's just going to break on you super fast. There's just more cons than there are pros, and I'm going to go over that real quick. I really don't like how hard it is. Sometimes it works good, but with this the liner lock, sometimes it's just really difficult to close. I'm not sure if that's just me, but it seems like it's just difficult sometimes. I'm not sure if it breaks in over time or not, but it does have a fast trigger, which is a good thing. And I like how the pocket clip, it goes all the way down in your pocket. But just from looking right here, it kind of wiggles just a little bit. You might have to tighten the screws up. And also looking at it right here, I don't know if you guys can see that, but on the sides of the belt clip, the paint's starting to wear just a little bit. And we just actually opened this thing out of the box, so that should not be a factor going on. But the paint is starting to chip or wear on the sides of the belt clip, which, you know what? This thing was super cheap. I think it was less than 10 bucks on Amazon. But for a pretty cool looking knife just to have around the house, I mean, you can use this for a limited time, I would say, on some extra hard extraneous work, because it does have all the tactical features. You know, you got your sawback blade right here. You've got your serration and your straight blade, your glass breaker, and your seatbelt cutter. And this thing's loaded. It's pretty cool, actually. But I'll leave that link down in the description if you want to go ahead and check it out. This is the tactical, I believe it was the Defender from Tactical Team. Yeah, don't get that confused with Tac Force like we did. But overall, pretty cool little knife. I say little, it's an 8.5-inch knife. Something different. I do like the design on it. It's got all these holes in here, give it a good look to it. But I do wish it was aluminum, and I do wish it was a little more hardier of a knife. And I'd really like it, actually. It'd be good for a lot of things. Be used all around the place. But that's about it for the review, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to win a knife just like this, every single Friday night, we're doing a giveaway. All you gotta do is watch the video, follow the simple steps, and you get a knife just like this. We got an assortment got my words twisted up there. We've got an assortment of knives, all the knives that we reviewed in the past that we haven't already given away. We have got going on that Friday night knife giveaway. So go ahead and check that out. 5/6 Central Time. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.